Hey, welcome. My name is Gavin Weber. This is another episode of the Blissflowly Business Channel here on YouTube. I'm excited you're here. And today I'm going to go through why and how the hustle culture and the grinding and the working your tail off mentality is actually really hurting your business. Why it's hurting your business and what to do instead. What's going to make the biggest difference in your business instead of that mindset and that mentality. Now, again, if you haven't come across this channel before, I help entrepreneurs, small business owners who have already achieved a level of success, having some profits coming in, sometimes even like been in business a long time, but they've reached a level to where they're like, I'm not sure how to get to the next level, and working more is not an option. And I'd really like to be excited about my job again. I mean, excuse me, that's the thing, is most people look at it as a job. I'd be excited about running my business again. And I want to have incorporate my purpose and why I'm on this planet, and then stop asking myself, like, is this all there is? And answer those questions within your current business. And so that's what we focus on. And that leads me to today's topic is like there is this myth, this misconception, this absolute lie out there. And I could name a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that I really like that really push this mentality. And I understand when you're younger that you're like, oh, I got all the time in the world. And it's like, whatever, I'm just gonna dive into this. But eventually, like with the clients I work with that are more middle-aged and have families and have all these other things, like time becomes a precious commodity, and all the grinding and the hustle eventually leads to burnout. And I know you already know this if you're watching this video, but like eventually it's not sustainable. You cannot keep up that pace. Nor what I would ask you is why would you want to? Like is when you're getting the meaning from your life and who you think you are by the results of your business, by your income, you eventually are going to crash. You are going to hit a wall. There will be a day that you're like, it doesn't matter to me anymore. This isn't like, it's not worth it. Like my health is hurting. My soul is pissed off at me. And this isn't why I started the business. And so this is a topic that I love diving into with my clients, and I want to explore with you today because I am here to unequivocally tell you that not only do you not have to just grind and hustle and work 68 hours a week, but if you're doing that, that is one of the primary reasons why your business is struggling, why you're not able to scale. So let me break that down and why I feel that way and why I've seen it with myself over and over, why I see it with my clients. And here's this mentality paradigm that happens when you're hustling and you're grinding is that you think there's a connection, a causality of that because you're grinding and hustling, that that's what success is and that's why you've gotten the results that you have. So in the beginning of starting your business, you're like, yeah, this is what it takes. And sometimes that is what it takes. But then it continues. That mindset's like, okay, well, for the next level, I'm going to have to grind. I'm going to have to work my tail off again because that's what it was before. And that's why you're stuck. That's why you're hitting a wall, is because there's no amount of work that you can do. There's only so many hours in a day that, like, if you continue to do what you're doing and just thinking working more or hustling more is going to do that, that's actually limiting you. That's causing you to not get to where you want to go. And if you flip flop that dramatically, which takes some time, it's not, otherwise, you just feel like you're jumping off a cliff and hoping you can fly on the way down. But this is one of the things I help people do is to look at their business in a new way. What are some other possibilities? And what happens is if you can transition your mind to thinking that like working too many hours and working too hard is actually costing you money, then it actually forces you, it encourages you, it inspires you to find other means and actually running your business like a business rather than a madman or woman in your business thinking, I'm just better at everything. I'm a one man show or a small business and I'm just going to do it all and look at me go. Well, that's probably not going to work out for you very well right now or eventually. So, if you can flip flop that, like I was saying, what will happen is you will start seeing new opportunities, new possibilities, new ways. And one of my favorite things these days is like, how can I maximize and learn artificial intelligence? How can I incorporate AI to do any activity that I hate doing? Number one, okay, or any activity that I'm not that good at that like I like to think I'm good at. And if you haven't really dove into AI, that's a problem. And you're costing yourself hours, but you're also costing yourself the ability for your business to scale. It can do a lot of things better than you. And quite frankly, gosh, you're never going to have the meaning and the purpose and the fulfillment and the excitement you would want in your business if you're spending time on activities that are not who you are and like your gifts to the world. I help my clients spend most of their time within their business what they're good at, most of their time running their business. And if they're running their business, they're not working in their business, they're working on their business. That is the difference. And guess what? It's not something that like comes naturally because as we're the go-getters and these successful people, we've worked hard through all these years of school and whatever it looks like. And it's like that's what our mind thinks. But we have to like undo that. And we have to say there are better ways. And I mean, you look at the most successful people on the planet, whether you love or hate him, Elon Musk. I mean, all he does is hire great talent, having employees, having contractors that do stuff for you that like that's going to leverage your time and money. And I know you know these things, but my question to you is what level are you actually operating from and using those things to their maximum degree? And if you have the mindset of grinding and hustling and working your tail off, I can pretty much guess that you're doing a lot of things you shouldn't be doing. You're not spending time learning AI. You're not building the business optimally in the way that it's leveraged so you can actually scale it. And you're going to get burned out and you're going to be stuck and you're going to wonder, what the heck am I even doing this for? Right. And then why you feel stuck is like, well, because I make pretty good money and my family needs it. And I've created this lifestyle. And what am I supposed to do? And I know what I know and I don't know what else to do. This is where I come in, whether it's just this channel, whether it's a book that I just created that I'll talk to you about, whether it's using me as a consultant to like walk you through this process. But regardless of what it is, you have to open your mind up to a new way of looking at your business, that you are not a grinder, you are not a hustler. Like you should shoot, if you're working 60 hours a week, the first thing I would challenge to my clients is like, we want to get you down to 40 as quickly as we can. A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And what will happen in their mind is go, gosh, that 20 hours, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, they're forced to create other things that are almost always way better than what they're currently doing. That equates to like, I'm working less and like those things are better, which then cause better results and make more money. And this is like down the path of like, you always hear, hey, make more money working less. Well, what does that look like? And this isn't brain surgery. Everybody's like, yeah, it's leverage. What is the difference maker is actually implementing those things and installing new things. And what are the right new things to do? What align with your business? In my last video, I talked about culture. And like if you're, I highly recommend you go back and watch that. But if you're a business, how would you, I mean, if your business was a person, how would you perceive it? Right. And that ties into what we're looking at right now is like, what's the vibe that your company gives off by you grinding and hustling and working your tail off? It's usually like this one of like striving and like need and possibly even some lack. And you don't really know that's resonating throughout the fabric of your business, yet that is part of the issue. When you're coming from a place of abundance and possibility, and gosh, I want to have that freedom and I want to work less and I don't want to be attached to this business, then you have this detached, allowing, unlimited mindset version of you. And that's kind of, there is a very spiritual component of what I teach. Some people really resonate with that. Some people don't. I try not to use the verbiage too much because I want to attract the people who get the essence of it without getting too woo woo on you. But like, you have to become who you really are and kind of peel off the layers of the stories you've created about yourself, of what's possible and how things work and how business should be and what your day should look like and what you should be doing. Like, a lot of people can't see what they can't see, and they don't know it, and they don't know their blocks. And so they're just in this hamster wheel, this cycle. And listen, that has been me to a T. Like, I'm having to do this exact same thing. I want to do it all. I don't want to spend money on this. I don't want to spend money on that. I don't have time to learn this. I don't with AI and stuff. I've had to overcome those blocks myself with the help of others. And eventually you're going to have that desire of like, I'm tired of playing a smaller game. I know more is possible, and I'm going to awaken to what's within me already by getting the help I need to see new possibilities, to get new results. Listen, your like what's happening with all your results is like those are effects. Okay, those are effects of how you think, all your actions, everything you're doing and being in this moment. So, what changes those? What's the cause of the effect? Not enough people look at that. And there's a lot of different things, and that's a whole nother video, but I'll hit you with just a couple. What level of vibration? Where's your frequency right now? How good do you feel in this moment? Okay. That's a long video in itself. Also, is what's your vision for your business? And where are you right now compared to like where you would like to be? And then you can start examining things. The other causes would be essentially like looking at how, like what I've been talking about, how you run your business. And ultimately every cause comes down to up here, what you believe is possible, who you think you are. When you I have a book called The Awakened Business Playbook. And if you subscribe and like this video and leave a comment that says, hey, I subscribed, I want the book, I will send it to you for free. It is a low cost book. So even if you don't want to do those things, no worries, you can pay for it. But I walk you through the framework, the playbook that I consult people through. And it's not the strategies. It's not, there are some business strategies and tactics, but like ultimately the difference maker is how you can perceive the world differently and how you can start understanding who you really are, what you're capable of, what your purpose is, what you're best at, and spending your time and effort on this planet being and doing those things and dissolving the layers of garbage that you believe about yourself and the stories you've accumulated over the years and that scar tissue, right? Recently, let's talk about scar tissue. Rory McIlroy won the Masters. And if you watched that, which a lot of people did, I loved it. Whether you like him or not, at the end, when he makes that putt, it gives me chills just thinking about it again. He broke down, just crying on the ground. Like he threw his putter, goes down, and just crying for like 20 seconds. That's unusual. But you could see every entrepreneur out there is like, I get it. 17 times trying, choked a number of times, no other way to say it, was close other times, was doing everything he could to win this tournament and lose this tournament over and over every shot. And it was a roller coaster, like, oh my gosh, like, what is wrong with this guy? That's called scar tissue. He like had a mental block with the Masters. And guess what? We all have that mental block. And without knowing it, we were rooting for Rory because we were like, gosh, we can relate. We've had those failures. There's been this one area that we can't conquer, that we can't overcome, that we can't achieve. It's so frustrating. And then we're scared to death of it, right? He was fighting his demons. He was battling those fears and like, oh my gosh, I'm going to win this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose this again. I mean, he had one of the easiest shots on 13. I think it was 95 yards in, huge green, and he pushed it way right and into the water. And I'm pretty sure he took a double on the hole. That's a birdie hole. And so as entrepreneurs, we can relate. We have these, like, we've been successful. Rory's successful. We have incorporated a lot of really good habits and we're really good in a lot of areas, but there are those areas that we suck at, that we're scared of. And when we can conquer those and we can face those and we can dissolve that best story about ourselves, then the next level is possible, right? And what that's going to look like to become the person who gets those results. Rory had to see himself as a Masters winner. He will tell you it was the number one goal. He basically has now won all the majors. That was kind of the last thing. He already was going to be one of the greats in golf. Now he has solidified himself. And I would ask you, do you want to just be a part of the hustle culture and just grind and work your tail off? Or do you want to experience what's possible for you? And I know if you're still watching this video that there's something deep within you that knows more is impossible. I'm here learning YouTube and attracting and aligning with the people who would want to work with me and who resonate with this, despite years of like falling short on YouTube, years of like just a few views. I'm learning it because it's so worth it to me to get to fulfill my purpose on helping people discover who they really are, live their truth, have an amazing life of abundance, joy, bliss, and love beyond anything that they could have imagined. And the way I help people do that is through their business and to kind of, I mean, what better way than to like overcome challenges and to create a new mindset and to get immediate feedback on of results, like what's working, what's not. And so anyway, I just want you to know the how on, I've said it a couple times, but be very clear, the how on to not fall victim to being that grinder, that hustler, that having to work 80 hours a week is to develop and make the choice, develop the mindset, make the choice that you are going to work much less and you are going to be the leverage king. You are going to be like spending your time on your purpose and getting aligned with that and what that looks like. And you're going to leverage your talents and you're going to find out what your business needs from you and needs in other areas. And you're going to give it that. And along the way, what happens is you start looking at your business differently, but most importantly, you start looking at how you perceive the world and yourself differently. And when I say you're going to awaken, when you accomplish something in a different way, different than you believed even was possible, and you do it over and over and over, everything becomes a possibility. Nothing is off limits. How cool would it be like, no matter what happens and what results you get, there's no stress anymore. You don't fear anything. It's all like growth. It's all possibility. It was all supposed to happen for you to wake up more and more and more. And there will become this time that you will leave behind the lower levels of stress and striving and lack and limitation. And you'll be operating from unlimited possibility and things you can never imagine. And when I say I'm going to help people compound their profits very quickly, it could be doubled immediately. It could take like a year. And we just keep doing that. We keep exponentially growing that without sacrificing what really matters to them and actually focusing on the meaning and the purpose of it. And that's what ends up causing the result the way they want to such a farther degree than they could ever imagine that it's mind blowing. And that awakening process blossomed. It opens up. So again, if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. You can also comment below my new book called The Awaken Business Playbook. It's awesome. It's a very low cost. I'm not wanting cost to be the reason people wouldn't have access to this stuff. There will be people who read the book and say, Gavin, I want your help, or I want to have a discussion of what that help would look like. I would welcome that. I only align with people who are a great fit. There is no closing or pressure. It has to be an all in for both of us. And I look forward to possibly that being you, but also I just want this channel to be an eye-opening, awakening experience for you on what is really possible for you. And we're going to mostly make that about in your business, but that will also start evolving to every area of your life. Okay. So I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for being here. Look forward to hearing from you. Leave a comment of anything. If you have questions, would love to hear from you. And I really, really appreciate your support. If you've been here, this far, if you want to share this, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you again soon. Much love. Bye bye.